Joining me now in studio is former RCMP officer James Carmichael. He is the Vice President of Risk Management at Investigative Solutions Network. Thanks so much for joining us. Always great to see you.
You're welcome, Jeff.
So how serious are these threats?
Well, organizations or companies such as WestJet, whether it's a mall down the road or anybody, they have to take it seriously. They cannot afford. The consequence would be such too great to not to take them seriously at this point.
How costly is this for the airlines?
It is very costly to divert an aircraft to a secondary location. You're talking fuel, you're talking time, you're talking crew. You know, the airline crew have got a certain amount of time they have to work. They may have to change the crew within the aircraft. It's very costly for them.
Is there a way for them to recoup the money? Is there insurance for something like this?
I'm not sure about that. Obviously, the airline do take this into consideration. It does happen. It's not as infrequent as we think it can happen. In my time in the RCMP, I worked in Toronto International Airport, and we used to see that quite often. Now, to have them happen to one airline, to one company in such a short period of time with such frequencies is disturbing.
How do you feel about the way the airlines are handling this? We were talking to a passenger last week who was actually on one of the flights that was diverted. They weren't told anything until they were actually on the bus. Do you think that's the right approach?
The airlines have got their procedures and their way of dealing things, and WestJet is no different. They're doing as best as they could. Their communication has been pretty good out there. It's hard. There's a fine line when and how you tell the passenger in an aircraft, especially thinking in the summer month. Now we've got first-time flyers probably going across Canada. The school just finished. So it's hard. You don't want to alarm the passenger, but you want to give them the right communication at the right time. And obviously, nobody's perfect. So the airline's trying their best at this point.
How do you investigate something like this?
The police is involved now. We know the RCMP is taking over the investigation. The airline, the security department of the airline is also working in conjunction with the RCMP. They're looking at they're dissecting and doing link analysis between all the 4 events against WestJet. There was a 5th one against Air Canada or St. John Airport, I believe. But they're examining how the information came in, to who it came in, was it a male, a female? So they're really looking at very specifically at how the information came in, what was said exactly, tone of voice, the specific information that was provided to the airline or to whoever received the call, and then combining this with possibly other information that the police or WestJet might have received in the past. And they're building a case slowly towards apprehending whoever is responsible for this.
And is it possible it could be more than one person, that it's a copycat situation?
It could be. Very hard to tell, obviously. The evidence will point out, will dictate more as to what has been happening and behind this. But more likely it's one person or a group of persons responsible for this.
And what would you say to people who do have flights booked on WestJet or Air Canada?
The airline industry in Canada is one of the safest. It's the safest way to travel still. There's nothing to worry about. WestJet, as any other companies, would take the best precaution and to protect their public or their passengers, their company's official, employees, or the infrastructures.
All right. Former RCMP officer James Carmichael, always a pleasure to have you in studio and on the show. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Jennifer.